How's it going, everybody? So in this video, I'm basically going to be testing out my new camera setup. For those of you who don't know, I took a long time off of YouTube throughout this entire year, 2025. And during this time, I made a lot of changes in my life, a lot of amazing positive changes, obviously. And at the same time, my computer basically exploded on me. Although I was intentionally taking a hiatus from YouTube. But I was able to acquire a brand new laptop, which is running on modern hardware, modern software, operating system, all that crap. And I really don't like modern software at all. It's so inconvenient and time consuming. I don't know how anyone with a life can use the brand new video game systems, brand new freaking Windows operating systems and laptops and shit. Even brand new cell phones, man, like mandatory updates and all that. Don't get me started. I don't want to start ranting about modern technology like an old man or some bullshit, right? But you know what I'm saying? This is actually a older computer, all right? And right now I'm looking at my damn self in the webcam window, and damn, I look fucking sexy as hell. Normally I try to put on a shirt and all this stuff before I make videos because fucking idiots in the comments section, for some reason, I'll be talking about like an herb or some kind of super advanced, highly nuanced scientific topic, and fucking idiots in the comments, for whatever reason, can't stop fixating on the fact that I'm shirtless. Like, why don't you have a shirt on, or like some crazy shit like. So, you know what I'm saying? But I don't give a fuck. This is a test video, okay? Primarily, I'm going to be giving y'all some updates and stuff like that, talking about some new philosophies I have on health and things, and what I've been doing lately, because I've been doing a lot of badass shit. Only the baddest ass of shit, all right? Only the most badass shit, right? But I'm going to also use this video to just make sure that my cam is actually working, right? My recording setup is actually working. Because I made like 2 different videos using my modern laptop, and when I posted them up using the same software and everything that I'm using in this video, mind you, actually hardware, the video recording stuff that is embedded into the laptop itself, and it was all laggy and low quality. So, this, I'm using like a freaking webcam from like 2011, a microphone from God knows when, 2008 or some shit, right? And a damn desktop PC from, I don't even know, 2012 or some shit. So, let's see if the quality on this is better, That's the big thing here, but anyway, and also I need to just get the damn momentum rolling, right? That's a huge thing with a lot of motherfuckers, is no matter what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life, most humans just have trouble like getting started and keeping the momentum going. All right. Although, yeah, it's not even about momentum. It's about picking up the pieces and just being persistently consistent, whether you fall off the wagon or not. But let's get into some shit, right? Health, right? So first of all, what the fuck am I sipping on? So yeah, no, I was persistently grinding with the same ginseng, cordyceps mucuna elixir combination, literally for 2.5 years, okay, until just recently, but it's still very similar. All right, for those of you who remember, like pretty much all my damn videos since like April of 2023 were about my damn ginseng elixir stack, right, and all the benefits of ginseng and things like that, and little changes that I did to it, right? And it's been amazing. Ginseng is absolutely one of the most amazing herbs or supplements, nutrition changes I've ever consumed. And I have to say, I feel like ginseng has changed my life. There's never been, and really, I started this YouTube channel and this health journey looking for Okay, good. It is recording. I just had to make sure. I thought it wasn't recording there for a second. Ginseng. So I started this journey looking for, for one, I had, serious kind of health conditions that I had to resolve, right? Basically, I had a severe food intolerance to beans, nuts, seeds, and legumes, right? But I didn't know it. I thought I had cancer. I thought I had, all sorts of things. Like I had psoriasis and an intestinal condition at the time, right? And it took me what, 4 years was it? Like 4 years to finally identify, it's because I'm eating all these beans, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and these things that these mainstream health gurus are telling me are the healthiest foods on the planet, and I actually can't digest them very well, and that was what was causing my issues. I took those out, and I started eating a meat-based diet, and voila, all my symptoms went away, right? But I tried every diet under the sun, right? That was a huge thing on this YouTube channel, right? Trial and error, experimentation, and documenting all the crazy experiments I've done. But the other aspect of that is looking for these golden supplements or herbs that give me godlike mental clarity and sharpness. Truthfully, what doctors would kind of like probably label as seeking a natural high of some kind, right? And that's really what a lot of this is, right? So like the nootropics, biohacking, nutraceutical stuff, a lot of these people in these health communities, what they're really looking for is a to get high off of like so-called natural supplements. Even though the word natural is such a nuanced and ambiguous term, it kind of doesn't have a whole lot of meaning. Man, this camera angle is badass. Like, this setup too, man. I look so good in this shit. And also, I guess because I'm also shirtless and my muscles look good. But and it's dark, but I got the perfect amount of lighting. And the screen is so much bigger than the one I had before. I'm just gonna be honest. Like my mother has like a, she's been an entrepreneur for, like, ran her own business for since like 2004, got really big in the eBay boom and stuff, and she became a like a millionaire at the peak of her business around 2012. And she didn't feed me through a golden spoon or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I had to grind and do my own shit. But she acquired a lot of old computers, right? And her business kind of fell off and for a while, and she did other stuff. But so I was able to get this screen and these old computers from her. You know what I'm saying? Even though I bought my own damn like laptop and all that shit. But this is an old ass computer that she just had in her garage, and she let me use it. So it looks great, you know what I'm saying? It looks great. But but anyway, so so shout out to her. I really appreciate that. It was a great gesture. I look great on this damn computer. I'm putting this shit to good use, you know what I'm saying? Man, where the fuck was I? So ginseng, all this stuff, right? So for me, I was looking for a damn herb or a supplement that was going to give me mental clarity, mental sharpness, a bulletproof immune system. It was going to make me feel better, better than I've ever felt in my life. Basically restoring youth and energy and all of those things, right? And ginseng has been touted as a cure-all. As a matter of fact, I think that's what its scientific name, I think panacea, that's what it actually is named after. It's got thousands of years of folklore, crediting ginseng as being a cure-all or a panacea, okay? Now, I'm going to make a little kind of side note tangent here that, a lot of my, several years of my YouTube career was dedicated to dismantling scientific nuance and just getting to the nitty-gritty of topics like, first of all, the epistemology of science. Second of all, highly nuanced topics like cholesterol research and the cause of heart disease and stuff like that. And so I am very much, well-versed in scientific literature and how to understand and interpret and decipher scientific information. However, I have to say, when it comes to health and nutrition and things like that, and I've been mentioning this for a while, modern science is not armed, like scientific literature, data, it's not armed with the ability. Like there's not enough, it's not able to actually help guide us to figure out what we should do. It is only good to kind of back up and help us understand things that we already see going on in different populations and stuff, okay? There's a top-down approach to science and a bottom-up approach to science, okay? You have to understand what those things. And furthermore, recently, a lot of these like science-based and evidence-based health YouTubers and things like that have come under fire. It turns out a lot of these people are just charlatans, similar to these, alternative health quack people or whatever, you want to call them, right? All of these people are profit driven and funded by like, pharmaceutical companies or, different science authors and shit like that. So you just have to understand, man, like it's not about looking at absolute facts, okay? And I'm only saying that because when it comes to something like ginseng, there's been thousands of years of scientific literature, thousands of years of historical literature and actual usage of ginseng. So, people using it for all things. And there's a reason why, ginseng has been one of the most sold and traded and revered and touted after and sworn by herb or supplement. For all these years, it hasn't fallen off, right? And it's also one of the most well-researched in, modern, scientific data research, okay? And that's another good kind of thing to decipher between is there's scientific data and then there's a scientific method. The scientific method is, I like to kind of think of it as something that is independent from scientific data. Scientific data needs to be interpreted using the scientific method, but the scientific method is more so a philosophical approach to critically analyzing different sets of data and data points, sourcing from historical evidence, anecdotes, hypotheticals, as well as actual raw data and research itself. But anyway, and I have a lot to catch up on with all of the, because I haven't made videos in so long, so I'm probably going to be going on different tangents, but at this point, I don't care. People, love all this shit, so whatever. Yeah, so where was I going with that? Over the last several years of me actually diving into all the research that people, are just so emotional about on these different topics, again, like cholesterol research, heart disease and things, but especially things like supplements that are heavily based on mechanistic data in rats and petri dishes and shit like that. It's so much better, more positive, more productive to look at the whole picture when it comes to nutrition, health, and these other things, right? Rather than just purely research and evidence and, authoritative opinion and shit like that. Anyway, and remember, you're talking to a motherfucker who has like hundreds of books on all of these subjects just piled up in his damn closet, which I've been slowly trying to sell and shit like that. I've actually sold around $7,000 worth of health science books so far that I bought from fucking Goodwill, all for like $4 a piece, by the way. So, yeah. How's that for financial responsibility, motherfuckers? But anyway. Ginseng definitely lives up to its name. So I've been on that ginseng train. I've just been experimenting with different things. So I was taking high-dose Korean ginseng extract, right? So I've been working, hardcore, kind of like, I guess you can call it, what's the more precise word? Non-disclosure security work. Okay, we'll put it that way. And during these shifts, oftentimes it'll be like 12, 16-hour overnight shifts sometimes back to back. And in those cases, I have to have food on the go, whether that's, rotisserie chicken, deli ham, cured meats or some shit, Sometimes I'll eat like 2 whole boxes of protein bars. All these fucking idiots, like, oh, processed foods, oh, the preservatives in the ham. This is going to be something I'll be talking about a lot more in the future, is the over obsession with preservatives and crap like that. Can actually make you unhealthy. All right. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and it'll be healthier for you to eat the foods with the preservatives in it. But on top of those types of food items, right, that still allow me to get the nutrients I need while avoiding things that actually will fuck up my performance and health, like an abundance of refined carbs, which I experimented with as well, and other things. Also, high-dose Korean ginseng extracts, because the best ginseng that I found is just going to be the raw powder, okay, from a credible source. Right now I've been using Dairyland LLC, the small family farm sourced Panax ginseng in American, and you blend it in piping hot water for several minutes at a time and with enough volume. I'm talking like 30 ounces of piping hot water. That's the best shit. But the Korean ginseng, man, so yeah, that gets me pumped, it gets me energized, but it causes too much stimulation of the mental chatter, causes anxiety, I guess what you can call, it trends towards paranoia, but like a frustrated paranoia, where I'm like, oh, people, what are people thinking about me type of weird shit, right? And that's actually a common symptom of, what they call ginseng toxicity, especially with the harder ginsengs like Korean ginseng, especially in extract. Okay. So I did that for a while, and I'm talking 1 to 2 grams of Korean ginseng extract, right? And the ginsenoside content was high. It was some like, I think like 12 to 22%. I think it was like 12% ginsenosides, something like that, of like a 250 milligram extract. But I would take about 2 grams of it. That's a lot. But anyway, I have found in most ginseng extracts in general just tend to cause like way too many different issues, but I've only found one Korean ginseng extract that actually works well. I've been keeping it a secret for a long time. I've had people actually pay me money to begging me to freaking tell them the extract. At this point, I'm giving up on the extract probably. But like myself, so I'll just make a video reviewing it very soon in the future. But because I've been so secretive about it for so long, and I've only allowed my paying clients to know what Korean ginseng actually works, I've been taking, I'm gonna keep it a secret for now. I'm sorry, motherfuckers get so angry about that. But so the American and Panax ginseng, man, like it keeps me like calm, focused, sharp. My reflexes are amazing. And I don't get sore from training, hardly at all. I always feel recovered, sharp, energized, and I do feel like it dramatically reduces the time of any kind of sickness and reduces the occurrence of it. During my time taking ginseng since April 2023, mind you, I had previously hardly ever gotten sick, like maybe 3 times a year before. Right, and it would never last that long. With this ginseng, I only got sick like once, and that was when I was working very hard as a bouncer, and they were making me like stand for like 8-hour shifts per night, and I wasn't sleeping. I was getting off of work at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was doing jiu-jitsu training and hardcore Zercher squats and weight training on top of that. In addition, my nutrition was down the drain because I was standing and working the whole time. I wasn't able to get my meat intake in. And during that time, I was doing that damn, I talked about this before, the Mongolian warrior diet is what I called it. So it was chicken, right? It was just like, what was it? Did I say 5 pounds of fucking chicken? And then I think I was consuming like processed white sugar, some shit like in my coffee with the ginseng and stuff, right? I was doing an experiment during that time to try to determine, does white sugar contribute to, is there a difference between white sugar and honey? And in regards to energy levels, I didn't see a difference. I still felt energized as hell, didn't experience more crashes per se, but I do feel like the honey's more steady. But I did feel like the white sugar seemed to contribute more towards like candida growth. And this is not a scientific thing. This is me just hypothesizing what it felt like was happening. I felt like the white sugar, because it's not wrapped in like a, the fructose and the other kind of, or sorry, it does have fructose in it, goddamn it, it's white sugar, but you get what I'm saying. It wasn't wrapped in a whole food type of form of honey. Honey has a lot of polyphenols and antibiotic properties and antifungal properties and things that neutralize fungus and also prevents it from growing in the first place, right? Whereas like white sugar and white processed carbohydrates, I do feel like those are the ones that feed these pathogenic organisms like candida to where they overgrow. Because remember, we have candida naturally already in the intestine. But anyway, that's my hypothesis on why I got sick during that time. But it was probably the hard working, not sleeping, and everything else I had going on during that time, man. That was the beginning of Wolfgang's, like the Grandmaster Wolfgang grind season, okay? So for those of you who don't know, maybe I'll make a separate video on this later. The past year, I'm going to say straight, I shifted my mentality, right? I'm going to say from like November of 2024 till now, okay? My mentality changed, all right? So whatever. We'll just go with the flow with this video. I'll talk about ginseng and whatever, okay? Yeah, whatever. We'll just go with the flow. Fuck it, y'all. The past year has been grind season. Anything you want me to expand on, that I mentioned in this video, and then I just change subjects, whatever, just let me know. I'll make a whole video on any of this shit, right? It's been grind season, man. Like, so from 2012 till, I'm going to say 2023, I'm going to say, okay? Generally speaking, okay? It started to fade off around 2022 when I started to win gold medals and get a taste of achievement, okay? But from 2012 till 2023-ish, okay? I was on this detached from material objects type of path. I was going through a very spiritual phase, okay? I was in a spiritual phase, okay? The general theme was, I don't care how I look. I didn't care about shaving my damn face, dressing nice. I didn't care about my persona, how I was perceived by other people. And really this started in 2014 when I, because remember, y'all, back in the day when I started this YouTube channel, I had severe panic attacks, right? Where I would have these like panic attacks, call the damn ambulance, all that shit. And I had severe social anxiety, and I was like really trying to like manipulate social media and do these weird things, man. I had this weird thing going on with me in my brain, like, and I also was suffering from dissociative symptoms, right? Something called depersonalization, where I felt like I was living in a dream, and I was withdrawing from Seroquel during that time too, because the doctors when I was a kid put me on that for like massive doses. We're talking like 2,000 milligrams and shit. Turned me into a zombie. So I was dealing with a lot of shit, but I had horrible panic attacks, and my mental health, so to speak, was in chaos. Now 2014, right, I started to do veganism, right, during that time. I got into holy basil. That was when I got into tonic herbs. That was when I started the tonic herb journey, right? Taking theanine, taking holy basil, gynostemma. Shout out to Brandon Gilbert, by the way. He was the one who really got me on that kind of path. And I found detachment from the outcome in general was the cure to panic attacks of all kinds, social anxiety, everything. And I started to just kind of like carry that theme with me. I thought, well, shit, if detaching from the panic attack and just embracing the panic attack, like, oh, it's cool, like whatever happens. If I have a panic attack, oh well, here, come on and fuck with me, panic attack. You know what I'm saying? Kill me, panic attack, right? Welcoming the panic. Completely resolved the panic attack, the anxiety, being scared that I was going to die of a panic attack, basically. Embracing the panic attack resolved it. And I noticed how much better I felt the more I just welcomed any negative feelings, right? Anytime I had a negative feeling, if I just let it be there, you know what I'm saying? I didn't try to fight the feeling. I was like, oh, whatever, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. Whatever happens, happens, And I had this affirmation, it's whatever, fuck it, right? That was my mentality. When I just let go in general, the more I did that, the better I felt. And I was able to walk through life in every situation from that point on with no anxiety at all. Like, I didn't give a fuck about nothing. I was always able to maintain this kind of like relaxed flow and kind of like, yeah, everything's cool type of shit, and happy-go-lucky or neutral, right? Which obviously there were periods of time, where, I'm not going to say specifics, but like there were periods of time after that where I just forgot about it, and I started to, get more resistance and shit like that, I got in a relationship, for 5 years, and that was actually the best, amazing girl, amazing woman. She probably doesn't believe that she's amazing, but she was amazing woman, right? But, I started focusing more on relationship stuff and whatever. But I was still deep in that spiritual journey, right? But where was I going with that? So detachment from the outcome was a very beneficial thing. And from that point on, no matter what, during that relationship, and I tried to teach her those kind of like philosophies too, obviously, because, everyone deals with things. I didn't care about, achievements. I didn't care about buying fancy cars. I didn't care about, dressing nice. Because this is the thing. When I stopped caring about how I looked and how I was perceived in materialism, I would walk around in public wearing these like I've told the story many times, like baggy neon green shorts and like neon green or neon red shirts. Didn't shampoo. Like I was trying to regrow my hair during that time, and it was working actually. I did like apple cider vinegar in my hair and then coconut oil for conditioner. And I walked around smelling like a damn coconut like vinegar. It was like but the crazy thing is, I got more women during that time than I had in years. Like, no lie, and this blew my mind. This taught me so much about life during that time, right? The biggest thing is the majority of the shit that humans care about doesn't matter. And this is something I'm going to make specific videos on, like talking about what females are actually attracted to. It's going to be one thing. Because I found chicks don't care about your money, brother. The type of chicks you want in your life won't care about your money. That's for a fact, okay? Because I'm just going to say, during that time, I was, I had enough money to survive, okay? I wasn't Mr. Rich Pants, and I never bought chicks anything, okay? Right? Ever. You know what I'm saying? I've always been the type of person. But when I did that shit and I was dressing like a hobo, smelling like damn apple cider fucking coconut, looking scruffy as fuck, not worrying about grooming. Crazy thing is, I had a female client I was training at the time who cleaned my house for me and offered to buy me shampoo and groom me and shower me and all this crazy shit, And then I had another girl that I met, who told me, she's like, I feel like I was a princess, and I found a caveman in the wild, and I took him into my house and taught him how to be civilized, as she told me. It was funny. It's because like I could have, it's not that I couldn't take care of myself. It's that I was consciously choosing not to give a fuck. I was literally in my monk mode. That was real monk mode. Y'all don't know. Everyone talking about monk mode. Motherfuckers never experienced the real monk mode, right? So multiple girls would they took me in, paid for like all my food. I'm just throwing this out there how crazy the shift was when I just didn't give a shit and I was like hobo-ish, but I had a house, I had a condo, a 2-bedroom condo and all that, and I had food and all that, a car, gas, all that shit, right? But girls would be taking me in, grooming me, you know what I'm saying, trimming my beard, buying me clothes, everything, So that blew my mind though. And I was balding. I wasn't the epitome of like male attractiveness at the time. I am now though, obviously, right? People tell me that shit. People treat me like I am, but I never really thought I was a 10 out of 10 until recently. But or whatever, I don't give a fuck. I think rating scales are stupid. Beauty truly isn't the eye of the beholder. A 10 out of 10 for me, man. You know what I'm saying? 10 out of 10 is different for everyone. All right, I've been recently noticing my 10 out of 10 is some very interesting shit. Right? Like, oh my god, this how chicks I really like is crazy. Anyway, what was I gonna say, man? So yeah, that's something I'm gonna be talking about. People for many years have been telling me they want me to talk about dating and female psychology and female attraction. I don't want to make videos about that for a number of reasons. I don't want to get canceled. I also don't want to make videos talking about it and then I'll be dating a girl or something and she fucking watch it, because they'll find your videos, motherfucker. They start watching my videos and then they hear me say some questionable shit, right? Like, what the hell is this? Like, you do some kind of like weird, like, I don't know, you just talk to every girl you see, or you do you doing some techniques on me, running game on me, manipulation, blah blah blah. Which I'm completely against manipulation. My philosophy is authenticity, obviously. You know what I'm saying? If I could go hobo like I did during that time, hobo mode, not trim my beard, smell like apple cider vinegar, you know what I'm saying? Then girls literally like take me in and groom me, you know what I'm saying, during my monk mode phase, then why the fuck would you need manipulation and shit? I did the opposite. You know what I'm saying? The girls would manipulate themselves because I just was so like in the flow of my own shit, right? But anyway. So, where I'm getting at is I was in that kind of monk mode mentality till like 2023, and that was a big change that happened this last year, okay? Now, to finish that tangent, my monk mode slowly went from complete detachment to, materialism, but also just physical reality in general, right? I was in a very deep spiritual phase for years. And then I went through a 5-year relationship where I lived with the girl, and we had the deepest and most serious relationship I ever had. And she was an amazing woman, amazing girl, and still holds a very warm place in my heart till this day for many reasons. Obviously, I'm over it and all, whatever. But she had a very positive impact on who I am, and maturing in my approach to females, I suppose, right? But after that, that relationship, because she was supporting me so much in my journey to kind of like grow my health science career and all that stuff, I started focusing a lot on damn health science. So that began the the phase of this channel where it really started to blow up, where I really started to experiment with everything, reading all the science, and suddenly I was still kind of detached from most material shit because I didn't care about looks or perception or clout or any of that. I was very anti-clout. People who just try to get attention, shit like that. I was fully, I didn't want to be a celebrity, none of that. And when I was younger, I did. I was a musician and stuff, playing shows and, all that shit. But during this period, right, we're talking 2016 till around 2021, right? I was all about the health science research. I was very attached to science research. That was all I cared about. And if you ask my, girlfriend of 5 years during that time, I mean, whatever, like, she knows I was I was like Einstein, or like I was like a mad scientist, just wanted to be undisturbed in his man cave. I was like, our dates would consist of us going to a bookstore, or the bookstore, and me just sitting there for hours reading, and I didn't know where my girlfriend was. She was in the bookstore somewhere getting boba tea, whatever. I didn't care. I wanted to read and not be disturbed. That's how I was. It's interesting. I know so much shit, right? And I took all this time off the YouTube channel. Most people that know me now don't have a clue how deep my knowledge runs. And I had forgotten about all this, how serious I took this, getting to the truth of health, okay? I was so obsessed with health science research. It's almost making me want to cry right now, just remembering just how fucking passionate and obsessed I was. I was reading everything. I had a stack of books, and I would zoom through, look for the main ideas and main points, and try to extract as much information as I could, and the very important details and facts from the most important things. And I would read, obviously the most important works all the way through, but there's so much information, so little time. I have 149 IQ. That is very significant. People think I'm bragging when I say that. It's important. It really is. If I didn't realize how important that was, I'd be going crazy, like trying to understand why most humans, they look at a damn YouTube video, can't tell it's AI or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Or they see a video of a woman screaming, because like some random robber walks in the room and she starts screaming, and all the comments are like, why is she screaming so loud? It's not, like she doesn't need to, it's overreacting. It's like, bitch, damn robber walked in. What the fuck? Like, how can you not tell? Why does it need to be explained to you? It's got to be low IQ, like, genetically low intelligence. Because for me, I could just see a scene, I could just recognize a pattern instantly. When I'm driving, like whatever, my mind just kind of puts things together. But anyway, extracting information, how efficiently you can extract information, how quickly you can extract information, organized you can extract information. For me to have 10 books, and just extract those things like that. And you can hear it in my videos, and then just recite it off the top of my head. Yeah, that's not something that whether it's the 149 IQ or something else, right? A learned skill is what I like to assume it is. Most humans don't seem to be able to do that. It's not an ordinary thing. So I had a PhD psychologist, for what it's worth, from the time I turned 21, when I started dealing with serious issues. He had to explain to me that was one of the biggest things I need to understand, is that I am not like other people. I have 149 IQ. Okay. And it makes a difference. And the sooner that I accept that and I see the difference that it makes, the easier it's going to be for me to interact with society. And it's true. I don't care about most bullshit anymore. Like, I don't. And I don't even think that it makes me better than anyone or anything, right? But no, there's a lot of things, man, that have changed about me, though. But yeah, no. So I was grinding with the damn scientific literature and all that shit, man. I was going ham. I was very obsessed with health science literature. That was all I cared about. I couldn't sleep. All I did was research. It was terrible. I was very addicted to research, man. It's funny. All these people, I wasn't just consuming videos, biohacking and shit. So anyway, 2021, was when I was really going deep into that shit. And I started when I started doing the carnivore diet, and I started to realize that, I survived like 4 years straight with no vegetables, no fucking fruits. I mean, without fruits and vegetables, I've been thriving better than ever. It's been like I haven't been carnivore in the least. I have not even been ketogenic in the last like 2 years, 3 years. But since November 2018, I have been with few exceptions where I did experiments trying to add them back in to see for sure, do they benefit me or not? Without exception, right? Since November 2018, there's been little to no fruits or vegetables in my diet at all, outside of tonic herbs and spices. And then when I go eat Mexican food with cute Latinas, like on some real shit, because I love cute Latinas, and that's something I'm about to make a video. I'm going to talk about, like, because I've my understanding of what makes me happy is something that I've really been diving into this last year. And it's very interesting, the conclusions I found compared to everything I've been focusing on with health science and shit for all these years. It's given me profound insights on what actually matters for health and other things. I don't even know if this video is recording, man. Hopefully it is. Fucking damn it. But, yeah, it says recording. Where was I going with that? So anyway, the carnivore diet made me realize most science is bullshit anyway. Most of the mainstream shit that's out there is false. And when I say it's false, what I mean is they say absolute crap that's not true. Okay? So they say fruits and vegetables are important, they make you healthier, and you need them for your, daily vitamins and shit. That's false. That's just false. Is it possible that fruits and vegetables might improve lifespan, reduce cancer rates? Maybe. The evidence on that is correlation, and it's subject to something called healthy user bias. And just plain and simple, if you don't know what healthy user bias is, and then just you have no valid argument in this at all. Because healthy user bias and also understanding magnitude of effect when they talk about clinical significance versus statistical significance, and understanding relative risk versus absolute risk, and that that neutralizes the majority of these scientific findings. They hardly find any truly meaningful findings in these studies that actually matter towards guiding what we should or shouldn't do. And and not only that, the science is so weak as far as being able to prove causation, right? That fruits and vegetables cause better health outcomes. Because most motherfuckers who are like, oh, Wolfgang, how can you say that? How can you say fruits and vegetables don't improve health, blah, blah, blah. There's all this science. What you don't understand is the magnitude of effect of these studies, okay? And it's unfortunate that these doctors and health people, health educators, science educators, they hype these studies up and they act as if these things are so meaningful to back up what they say. And then, it's a big appeal to authority with no actual causal evidence that's strong enough to matter. And the biggest thing here is me as my own self in experimenting. Since November 2018, I have been eating no fruits and vegetables, and I don't feel like I need them. Funny enough, when I was younger, before I started this health journey, I had no health problems. I felt amazing all the time. I ate pasta, pounds of pasta a day, pounds of cheese, Monster energy drink, and then I'd have meat occasionally, and I felt amazing most of the time. However, I did become pre-diabetic and had high triglycerides. I wasn't training and exercising like I am now, though. But obviously the refined carbs and crap like that was most likely the issue. But it was only when I started adding whole grains and fruits and vegetables to my diet, I was trying to eat healthy and I did all the mainstream stuff, that was when I started to have serious health problems, like actual health problems, right? That I could feel at the moment. I felt like I was dying, couldn't breathe, all that stuff, right? And the minute I took all that bullshit out, when I ate a meat-based diet, I felt it was a 9-day difference. I was like, oh my God, I feel like a superhuman. And most people say that, right? And everyone's like, oh, it's a placebo effect. Like, no, it's not. But the biggest thing is I haven't had scurvy. I haven't had, potassium, magnesium deficiency, probably because magnesium, potassium is very high in meat, by the way. I did that whole 5 pounds of chicken and white sugar experiment for months. It was 6 months straight. And I got sick once when I was like seriously sick for like a week. But that was after 5 months, and that was when I was working, like I told you all again, nonstop, that bouncer job. So I'm just saying, like, I realized that everything we know, everything the mainstream says about what we need to be healthy is most likely wrong. And that was from my own perspective, you know. And so I'm still not eating fruits and vegetables, you know, but I have added, you know, carbs back in the mix, okay? I mean, I've been doing honey since 2023 in my tonic herb elixir every day, you know, with small periods where I tried white sugar, but don't do that unless you're really, like, burning for money, right? And then I had also done, you know, white rice, and I tried, like, wheat noodles. Okay, that was another experiment. So I've been experimenting with that shit over the last year or so. You know, I've been really tweaking things. And remember, I was vegetarian for years, vegan for years. I tried meat and vegetables, paleo, everything. So it's not a matter of like, oh, he's just, you know, like I've tried everything. This is literally me, like getting, you know, ironing out the small kind of parts, right? The small tweaks now. But what was I saying? So I don't even know where I was going with all that. Oh yeah. So when I realized, you know, health science is mostly bullshit, I was like, fuck, I spent all this time obsessing over health science. Now the thing is, all my clients that I started training, right, worked at, you know, LA Fitness, Gold's Gym, about 5 years combined. Top selling personal trainer with the best results for sure of my clients. You know, I've had clients, you know, reverse diabetes, reverse high blood pressure, lose 140 pounds in 14 months. One of my clients, who I have testimonials, videos, pictures, everything, and they still train me to this day. And she's 56, 57 years old now, and her son lost 100 pounds in 12 months on the same diet. And she's been feeling better than ever in her life, reversed all her health problems, lost all that weight. Her doctors couldn't believe it. They thought she was on meth. Literally, it made her do illicit drug tests. And all she eats is meat. No vegetables, none of that. Even though I told her, hey, you can eat vegetables if you want for flavor, but they're not necessary. And I've had so many clients who did that, and they just reversed all their disease and felt amazing. Like, so I'm just saying, I'm just saying that blew my mind. And, you know, I had a girlfriend who also, you know, when I was with her, did that for a year, the carnivore diet. And she ate vegetables and she did keto junk food and shit occasionally. All that happened to her was she lost 40 pounds. She was in the best shape of her life, nourished, her hair stopped falling out, all that shit. Beautiful Mexican girl, obviously. That's mostly what I love dating. And, you know, she was hairy, but her hair wasn't healthy until she met me and started doing all these things, using the right shampoos and all that, seaweed shampoo and conditioner, all that, eating enough meat and stuff. But, you know, her fucking triglycerides went down to like, was it like 40 to 60 nanograms per deciliter, like rock bottom. So anyway, so what I'm going with this, and then to top that off, being a health educator and really working as a personal trainer with people that were paying me, you know, $400 to $600 a month to train them and educate them on these things. Even the doctors and nurses and nutritionists that I train, a lot of them didn't give a fuck about health science or the why. They only wanted results, okay? And none of them had a great baseline understanding of these things either, which was crazy to me. People who work in the medical field had a very baseline but broken up understanding of how, you know, nutrition works, how the body's adaptation to exercise works, you know, disease processes. All that most of these people knew were medications and what is, you know, the difference between a complex carb and a refined carb, which it doesn't actually even matter, actually, in the grand scheme of things, per se. You know, not the way they think it matters. I realized no one gives a fuck about health science. It was blowing my mind. I'm like, man, But I did give everyone a hour-long health science lecture and why my programs work and shit like that. And usually just hearing the knowledge and how I speak made them sign the contract for training and shit. And then they got the results and that made them stay. But they didn't actually care. They didn't understand. They didn't want to understand. They just wanted the results, okay? So, and none of the trainers, none of the nutritionists I worked with, none of them gave a fuck either. Okay, none of them knew shit about nutrition science or training science or any of that. They're just fucking throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks type of shit. That's the sad part, like personal training especially, right? Motherfuckers just do random ass shit, and try to entertain their clients with bullshit. It's crazy. I was the only motherfucker who had real programs and a whole philosophy behind why things work, getting motherfuckers crazy results, tracking it, all that shit. That was why I was the best selling within my scheduled times, obviously. But so anyway, where is this leading me? Damn it, it's leading me to where I am now. This last year, right? I full-heartedly committed to fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Health science and all that stuff, man. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I don't have an like, I don't care. I don't need to care. I've gotten all my clients great results with, reversing disease, increasing performance. I had a client that had started having bone fractures despite supplementing, calcium in our things for years. Turns out that client was taking, was it Prilosec? They were taking a damn antacid medication, a proton pump inhibitor, and it was inhibiting the absorption of calcium. And what was interesting is despite eating 200 grams of protein or more a day at 57 years old, that client also, their doctors did blood work and said that they had low blood protein, which doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot necessarily, the blood protein levels, but the damn doctor said you need to eat more protein. And I thought that was funny because this client was eating more protein than anyone in that doctor's office, let alone most people at the gym, at 57 years old and training harder than them too. So the low blood protein and the bone density lowering in the DEXA scan turned out to be because they were taking antacid medications, right? And that was inhibiting the absorption of protein and calcium. And then when they told the doctor about that, the doctor was like, oh, yeah, that definitely was the cause, or most likely the main contributor. And so that is kind of just like a little on-the-fly problem-solving thing, right? What I'm trying to say is, like, there's not going to be a time where, I don't need to obsess over health science anymore. And I don't care about it. I don't really care about making videos about it. I'm not saying I'm not going to. It's more so the real serious topics. I don't want to make videos about heart disease and shit, but I probably will anyway, damn it, because it bothers me. People get shit wrong. But the last year, what I've been focused on, literally stacking cash and kicking ass. I've been collecting cars. I've technically owned 3 Trans Ams right now. Okay, 2 of them are in the shop right now. And one of them's my daily driver, 500 horsepower, straight pipe V8, sounds like a dragon, T-tops, everything. It's the last generation too, with the damn ram air hood and everything. And the 3000 GT. I bought my damn dream cars. I literally bought my dream cars. That's what the fuck I did this year. I've been focused on, getting stronger in the gym so I can make great, badass, like, videos of me doing crazy lifts, training jiu-jitsu so I can get really good highlight footage, winning gold medals, all that shit. I've been focused on becoming successful. That's what I want in life, right? Also, I got back into rapping, which might sound crazy. People on this channel, they only know the science Wolfgang, right? The damn intellectual Wolfgang. They don't know the They don't know the free balling, like just like freestyle rapping. They don't know that Wolfgang, right? There's a whole other side to me that you all would not have like never guess existed, right? The Wolfgang that's just having fun in life, basically enjoying my life, not really whatever. But yeah, I got back into rapping, and I actually feel like I can become a famous rapper. And it was funny. There was a girl who I told this to, and she laughed at me. She's like, "Huh, not a famous rapper." I'm like, "All right, bitch, you're gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? You will. If I want to be something, it'll happen. That's how it is." So anyway, just a matter of me actually wanting it. But yeah, so I've been, buying my dream cars. I've been focused on my career, getting my money where I want it to be, and yeah, getting my I don't know what you'd call it, like my dynamics with girls the way I want it to be, my dating life or relationships or whatever the fuck. And I took a break from jiu-jitsu while I was, buying my dream cars because I was just so in the grind, just working so many hours all the time, right? I'm back in jiu-jitsu now, and I did my first session the other day, and it was crazy. Like I walked up in there like nothing happened. Like I never left. It was like I don't want to say too much. I don't think he's watching. I don't think it matters. Let's just say I choked out a black belt my first day back, and he might have let me pass his guard or something, maybe. I don't know. But he definitely was trying not to get choked, and I was able to lock a choke in. So that doesn't, that to me mattered a lot because I hadn't been in jiu-jitsu in so long. I'm not going to say how long. It was a long time. And people behind the scenes it's crazy how relevant I stayed. People were talking about me the whole time. I like that, though. I don't mind. I like that shit. My whole life, that's been. When I was in a band, all this gossip was always there. I like that shit. I thrive on that shit. It motivates me. I like that a lot. But no, I did great. I came back into training, man. I was whooping ass. It was crazy. I just got to get my conditioning up. That's the biggest thing. This time around, I want to focus on conditioning. I want to focus on conditioning. I want to train a lot, and I just want to fuck shit up, man. I want to, and I want to have fun with it. I don't want to take shit seriously. So, but I'll make a whole separate video now. This is meant to just be a test video. I'll make a separate video talking about where I'm at now, okay? But, yeah, so that's kind of like the long-winded kind of story of where I was and how I came up and how I got to this point, I guess, is I had health problems in 2012 that mainstream doctors couldn't help me with, and I've told this story before. They were it's too much fuckery. They clearly didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They all had health problems themselves, and it was scary seeing them trying to help me. I'm like, why the fuck am I going to them to help my health problems, right? But I had horrible problems, man. 2012, I had depersonalization, I had psoriasis, I had colitis, I had severe anxiety disorder. I was coming off Seroquel that I was on since I was like a 9-year-old kid. Doctors had me on giant horse pills of zombie medication. Came off that shit, started feeling crazy. Couldn't breathe either. I had over-breathing syndrome where it always felt like I was short on breath and couldn't get a deep breath. Thought I had I thought I had heart disease. Thought I had skin cancer because of psoriasis. I was all fucked up. Doctors couldn't help me. So I started researching health. I was like, fuck all that. I'm going to learn that on my own. Researching health, experimenting. I did baking soda cleanses. I did turmeric cleanses. I did raw veganism. I did microgregor veganism. I did organic, pescatarian, Mediterranean diet. Then I got into Chinese medicine and tonic herbs, and that changed the game for me. Changed the game, man. Just hot soups, spices, garlic, meat, cheese, white rice. That changed the game. It's basically the way I eat these days, but just, I don't eat as much vegetables as I did back then. I don't eat any, but the tonic herbs on top of that, man, like, it's amazing how far I've came. And then, just focusing on the spiritual path during that time, and then I got a girlfriend, and, at that point I was trying to figure out my own life, but I was just heavily researching health all the time. I was trying to build a YouTube channel. I was obsessing over health research, and that was all I cared about. It was really crazy. All I cared about was reading health science books, man. And then I started doing a little bit of lifting videos, and I honestly feel like my relationship with that girl was what kind of triggered me to become. It kept my badass edge alive. I wasn't able to just fully be a nerd. There was that edge to me thanks to that girl being in my life, because she was very edgy. And I like that shit. I like that shit a lot. She was great. So I was making badass, she was taking me to my favorite death metal concerts, we were seeing our favorite bands together, and taking me to, and we were, doing heavy lifting together, powerlifting, all that shit. And that got me more focused on, personal training and other things as well. Then my personal training shit started to take off. The pandemic shit happened. And the damn carnivore diet really got me obsessed with health research again. Because at that point, I had to question everything. I was like, well, fuck, if the need for fruits and vegetables is wrong, what else is wrong? And I don't need carbs. I remember removing carbs, and suddenly all my lifts were going up and my endurance went up. I was hitting 14 rep max PRs on clean and jerks. I'm like, damn, that's not supposed to happen with no carbs. All my pains went away. So anyway, and then, and that girl that I was with for 5 years was very into cars and, improving her career and finances and material things. But I truly just didn't care at that time. But then the pandemic happened, and I had I started working on my personal training career, and luckily I had a very good person who was helping me during that time, just to make sure that I could spend all the time I needed to work on that career. And I was able to make it to the top within my schedule, of the personal training hierarchy. Got all my clients, crazy results. Was changing lives. And still have some of those clients till this day who I changed their lives, dedicated for years now to me because of the profound impact I had on them. And then I realized all these profound things about, health science and these other things, and really what drives people and what matters, really the mindset. I think the mindset and what you believe about your health, might sound crazy, affirmations, whatever. I do feel like realistically, what you truly believe about your health and your immunity and stuff like that, I feel like that probably actually might be the stories you tell yourself about how healthy you are, how old you are, and shit like that. I think that's what it is. I've dated so many Latinas in my life who maybe they drink, maybe they smoke, maybe they eat tacos and donuts and shit like that all the time, and they never get sick, and they're healthy as fuck. They look super young. People say, oh, it's just their genetics, Latinas always stay young. Sure, maybe, but I also think in certain types of Latinas, in their culture, they have a very don't give a fuck, go with the flow type of kind of mentality, and I think that keeps them young. You know what I'm saying? But it depends, right? I've just seen so much, and I've had clients ask me questions like, how come my friends that don't care about their health seem so much healthier and happier than me, who obsesses about health? And I think that's what it is. It's the obsession versus the non-attachment. But anyway, so I'm gonna stop this and we'll see what's up, and I'll make other videos about these topics separately. And just one more thing, I'm experimenting with rhodiola as well as black ginger extract on top of my normal ginseng, but I've removed the Korean ginseng. I think that shit drives me crazy. So leave your questions, comments down below. Talk to y'all next time.